Hey everybody, and welcome to The Breakthrough Effect. I'm your host, Jerrid Sebesta. I've had two successful careers. First, I was an award-winning TV meteorologist, and then a financial marketing strategist. I was living the dream, making good money, but inside I was craving for something more, something bigger. So I stopped deferring life and I started creating exactly the life I was searching for. I doubled down on unlearning old mindsets and creating big breakthroughs for me and my family. And now I'm bringing that same transformation to you. Let's understand the rules of this game. Let's get clarity. Let's stop chasing and start becoming. This is the Breakthrough Effect. So when people reach out to me, there's a general theme. A lot of the DMs and the emails I get, messages, kind of have the same type of tone to them. They're people that they feel a little stuck. They want more. They're intrigued by this message of life undeferred. They've listened to this podcast. They're not failing, but they're also not thriving. They're aware that there's some other level to be unlocked in their life, but they really don't know what that is. I'm going to walk you through a series of questions and exercises that will help you get to the bottom of what your next level looks like. Because once you can identify that, your future self, as Dr. Benjamin Hardy talks about, then that is the vision that actually propels you, or better yet, pulls you in that direction. That is the thing that keeps you chugging forward into growth and expansion, and for you unlocking new levels on a quarterly, weekly, and almost daily rate. The very first thing that I want you to consider is I want you to give yourself a future target date. Now, I'm very biased in this respect. I will always lean towards 1 year out. I'm not opposed to anything like 6 months or so. Anything under 6 months is too soon, but anything outside of 18 months is too long. I'm not poo-pooing some of these people that kind of go down this road of creating 3 to 5 and 10-year visions. I think there's a time and a place for that. But I got to tell you, when you are on the road of growth and expansion, who you are going to be in 6 months, certainly a year, and most definitely 18 months and beyond, you won't even recognize that person. How that person is going to think versus your current self is completely different. And so that person is going to see things. They are going to have upper limits that you don't have. They're going to have baselines, new baselines, higher baselines that are higher than the baselines that you currently have in your life with respect to finances, purpose, connection, and so on. So whenever you're listening to this particular podcast, I want you to think from 1 year in advance. I want you to consider a couple of questions. And this is what I would call one of the most important questions that you can answer. And I'm going to give you a bunch of sub-questions to consider as well. So this is it's kind of a bait and switch. There's a lot more than one question, but all of these questions kind of fall under this big question. Here it is. Who do you want to be on that future target date? Get that date in mind. Maybe it's the end of this calendar year. Maybe it's the beginning of the next calendar year. Maybe it's the midpoint of next year. But think of that date. Who do you want to be waking up on that date 1 year from now? Notice, I did not say, what do you want to do? What things do you want to accomplish? No, who do you want to be? Remember the tagline of the show, stop chasing and start becoming. Who do you want to become? Who do you want to embody? Now, I've done this long enough. I've asked this question literally thousands of times to thousands of people in one-on-one setting, group settings, on stages in front of hundreds of people. And inevitably, I get kind of the head turn, kind of the deer in headlights look, because that can be really hard to identify. So here's a series of sub-questions I want you to consider. Who are you if you are operating in your most authentic, most abundant form? Who are you when you are completely you? Who are you when you are embodying exactly who you were created to be? Who are you when you are most alive? Who are you when you are doing the thing or things that set your heart on fire? What are the things and who are you when you are doing those things that absolutely light your soul on fire, that you would do them regardless of finances, regardless of whether you got a paycheck or not? What are the things that connect to your soul when you are operating in your most abundant form? I want you to consider that for a second. I want you to contemplate that. Again, I'm going to challenge you to get out of your logistical mind. You cannot think logistics when you are answering this question. There's a primitive side to our brain, a logical side, the monkey brain, the brainstem. And I won't get into kind of the logistics and makeup of our brains, but we have this primitive side to our brain that when we look into the future or look at a situation, logistics wants to come into play. I'm going to challenge you to get out of your logistical brain. I want you to put away rational thought, practical thought. Get rid of that. There's a time and a place to think like that. And when you're going through connecting with your soul type of exercises, which is what this is, you need to put that aside. Also, too, if you've been on planet Earth for more than 20 or 30 years, when you look into the future, your logistical brain will calculate the growth into the next year based on what it has seen in the last year, or maybe the last 5 years or 10 years. So if you've had this much growth in the last 5 years, then your logistical brain will say, well, logistically, I'm going to have this much growth in the next year. Put that to death for this exercise, not forever, not that you could anyway. But think about that. Who do you want to become? And this goes beyond just business. This goes beyond finances, but certainly does include that. How much money do you want to be making? If logistics were completely set aside, how would you be spending your time? How would you template out every single day? What would your weeks look like? What would you be doing? How much money would you be making to do said things, right? What would your body look like? If you are operating in your most optimal form, what would your body look like? Would it be healthier? Would you be carrying less weight? Would you just have optimal health? What would your marriage look like? What would your relationships with your family look like? What would your connection with your job or your career look like? More importantly, and most importantly, what would be the connection that you have to your soul? This is a soul-bearing question because it gets down to the heart level of who you actually are. So many people that get stuck spend so much of their time and their lives being somebody that they are not. It is time to clear the slate. No matter how old you are, no matter where you are in life, if you feel that nudge, answer this question. Who do you want to become in a year? I could come up with a number of other questions, but I think that's probably enough for the time being for you to gnaw on. But here's the most important sub-question of that most important question. And this is it right here. How do you want to feel on that date? How would it feel to wake up on that particular date, embodying that person that you have become, that is in complete alignment with your soul, your purpose, your calling, and your vision? What would that feel like? The very first coach that I hired, he challenged me with these exact same questions 3 years ago as I was primitively putting together this platform that I call Life Undeferred. I could have told you with exact accuracy back then, and by the way, this is back in like late 2022, back in 2023. He told me, Jerrid, who do you want to be waking up at the end of this year? And he asked me the same series of questions, and I could tell you exactly what I wanted to be doing. I knew what sets my heart on fire. I love speaking and teaching. I love trying to get people to wake up to truth, capital T. I love motivating people. I love helping people see truth for themselves that they didn't see maybe forever, for their entire life. And I love seeing the light bulb come on. I love transferring energy. I love getting people excited about their lives when they feel stuck, down, depressed, anxious, stuck in fear, letting their ego dictate their life. And when those eyes start to open up, that is the biggest high I can get. I love being on stage. It's not an ego trip for me. It's just where my genius is. For those of you who have followed me and listened to the show, I used to be a TV weatherman, and that was actually a really good fit for me. And after that, I did a lot of speaking, and I knew back in 2022 that is what I love to do. But at the time, I was only doing it a tiny fraction of the time. But every time I did it, man, I felt so alive when I was driving home from those speaking engagements. I felt empty, but I felt accomplished. I would sleep so good the nights that I had a speaking engagement, and my soul longed for more of that. I wanted to do online courses. I wanted to do group coaching. I wanted to help people one-on-one. He asked me, how many times do you want to travel per month? I said, about once a week. He said, how much money do you want to make? And me being a small town Minnesotan who doesn't talk about that and gets embarrassed with that question, he had to ask me 3 or 4 times, Jerrid, how much money do you want to make? And finally, I swallowed hard and I told him. And it took a lot of guts to say that number out loud. And he said, let's go. He didn't say that's stupid. He didn't say that's not practical. He didn't say that is too big. He said, let's go. You know what happened when he told me that? I started to believe it. I want you to know that this vision, this calling, this nudge that you have on your heart, this different life that you can imagine right now, you can see it, you can smell it, you can taste it, you can feel it. It is for real, but it takes you envisioning it and then feeling it. How would it feel? My first coach asked me, Jerrid, if you woke up as that person, how would you feel on that date? And you know what I said? I said that guy would have peace. Peace. That's what I want. I want to have peace, knowing I am doing and operating in exactly who and what I was supposed to do. No disrespect to the other jobs and careers and employers that I've had, but they could not scratch the itch of my soul. And I needed to embody and step into this new reality for my soul to be at rest. Does that make sense? Now, I also feel like a victor. I wanted to feel like I was providing. I wanted to feel like I was exactly in tune with what I was supposed to be doing. I wanted to look at my finances and never have to worry about money ever again. Not that I would have so much, but I knew there was always going to be opportunities. I could see the emails coming in. I could see me on stages. I could see people thanking me for helping them. People that have paid me to help them to the thing that I love to do the most. And then they were going to email me the next day and thank me, not out of an ego stroke, but yet as a confirmation that I was doing exactly what it is I was on earth to do. Fast forward the clock 2 or 3 years later, hallelujah, this is exactly what I'm doing. I pinch myself that I get to do this. This is an honor to create this show. This is an honor to go on Instagram and LinkedIn and YouTube and TikTok and make videos and connect with people and reach out to people and get on the phone with them and make groups and go on stages and write books. It's an absolute honor. I pinch myself. It feels like I'm cheating. And you know how I got here? A couple of years ago, a coach asked me, Jerrid, who do you want to be in a year? And more importantly, how do you want to feel? I want to encourage you to make that vision, cast it, and I want you to feel it. I want you to connect with it. I want you to meditate, pray, go for a walk, close your eyes, do whatever you do, and I want you to go there so deep in your mind that you get goosebumps on your skin because you can feel what it's going to feel like to connect so deeply with your soul. This is not about money. It's not about showing off how big you are. This is about a connection with a purpose that brings you so much peace and certainty and impact and connection. You cannot believe that you were wasting your time for so many years being somebody that you were not. That's the challenge. That goes for everybody, no matter if you're living a 1 out of 10 life, a 10 out of a 10, or a 5 out of 10. Cast the vision for who you want to be in a year. Get hyper specific. Get violently vivid on who that person is. And then I want you to feel him. I want you to feel her. I want you to connect with your future self. And that emotion, that energy will dictate your actions and your behaviors, and they will be in alignment. And that future self will propel you into a destiny where you will be unrecognizable week to week, month to month, quarter to quarter. You will be a new creation in a year. You want to live a life undeferred? That's how you do it. Pick a future date, cast the vision for who you want to become. It's already inside of you. Newsflash. And then feel it. And then make decisions today as if you already are that person. They will be in alignment with your purpose and your soul. And watch what happens. If this conversation sparks something in you, don't let it fade. Please rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform. Don't forget to connect with me online as well. Follow me at Jerrid Sebesta on Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, or dive deeper at my website, jerridsebesta.com, where all my free trainings and resources are waiting for you. And remember, stop chasing the life you want and start becoming. This is the Breakthrough Effect. We'll see you next time.